What is up everybody, Dak here, back with an update to the 1010s box. And of course I made a bit of progress to it. Not a whole lot off camera detail wise, but a bit off camera work wise. But don't worry, you haven't missed that much. So yeah, it's certainly looking like a lot more than it did before, I'll admit that much. But what we've got here is I've got kind of a mock-up of one side with a 10-inch. I'm not going to be using that 10-inch or any variants of that 10-inch. It's just a random one that I had lying around. But yeah, you can see the 5 rings I've got made up, and they're currently just super glued into position. So they're a bit flimsy. I could probably break it pretty easily, and I'm kind of lucky he hasn't broken it yet. Yeah, this is what it's going to be, and symmetrical this on the other side, and there's going to be a port there and a port there, which is going to be facing straight up. So there's going to be a 90-degree bend, and then the port will go back down into that corner or something to get the length required. I've also done some bracing, just some basic 45s on the corners, as there's no proper joins like a butt joint or anything. So actually I think it might be the most basic butt joint or something. But yeah, just to add some strength to there, also along there, down there, and one up there and there. And I'm still planning on adding one to each of these corners back here. So I'm thinking, kind of, as this is 4 out of the 6 sides of the box, if you consider a standard box to have 6 sides. I'm trying to get this as rigid as possible. Also, I've got this kind of spine right down the middle, just to give this biggest uninterrupted plane more rigidity. So hopefully that should make the bottom, and I'm thinking too, I'll also have bits that come out across, maybe to the sides. So this would be like a square here, something along those lines. But I'm going to wait a bit longer to do that, just in case anything across the bottom will interfere with the port, as it is very tight. So you can imagine fitting 1010s into a box like this. You can see there just some of the overlap that's going on. It's really tight. In fact, right there, those 2 rings, they won't work like that, because the speaker will stick out that way and stick out that way, so it'll interfere. So that's, yeah, this is just purely a mock-up. Something else I'll show off quickly with the box is right around here. You can definitely see it from that side a bit, but now you can see it a lot better. Yeah, here I've got the amps mounted. Not mounted, mocked up once again. But see the 4-channel amp, it's just slightly longer than those two 2-channel amps. So it's going to go in the middle right there, and these 2 flanking it, with probably the power connectors in them towards the middle or something. And the reason why they're in this configuration instead of all 3 vertical or any other configuration is because right here, this is so tight, this box, that see right here how this 10 sticks forward past the baffle here. So I'm going to need to construct something that goes around here, so the 10 will fit and is still sealed. But if I come back here, this is the side of the boot right here, the profile of that. So this 10 here, I'm actually not 100% certain if it'll fit in this configuration. I'm hoping it will, but the reason why the amps are like that is because if this one was vertical, or if both were vertical, because it's mirrored, the amp would not fit here. It possibly would, but it'd be a lot closer, a lot tighter. And where I can get away with space, heck yeah, I'm going to take it. Geez, this thing's already annoying enough. But yeah, it's really tight. I'm thinking also on one side, as I still need to work out things like getting power and signal to this thing. So I'm thinking currently I'll have, and I'm just going to use this side because the dog's in the way there. So DSP with the 12-volt regulator on one side, and then on the other side there'll be possibly the Anderson connector for the power to get to the amplifiers. So that's the strategy right now. I'm also thinking of things such as getting the hole saw and the jigsaw and adding perforations, I suppose, or slots, however you want to put it, along this bit here, so that way I can access the front of the amplifier and put wires, as well as just handles, so I can lift and move the boxes. All the other boxes I've made don't have any sort of handles on them at all. In fact, I think the closest thing is folded horn 2 there, which you can possibly see that bit of bracing in there. I use that as a handle. It's strong enough, even though it's just 1-inch dowel, but it's good enough. All right, and time for another quick update, just really basic one. Here I've got some more things, clearly, and including some more of these rings for the speakers to mount into. So I've now got these 5 here mounted up, as well as 5 more right here for this side. I've still got the template somewhere right there, so if I break any or need to make any modifications, as in make them a bit bigger or something, if I have to, then that option exists. But hopefully I won't, but I'll double check that in just a second, as I have 4 out of the 10 drivers right there. That's all the local Jaycar had at the time. And for anyone wondering why I'm going with Jaycar subs and Jaycar amps, it's literally because I've checked online quite a bit, and in Australia I could not find any better value 10-inch sub than that right there. So when you buy more than 6 at Jaycar, you get a bulk purchase kind of discount. So they were $62 each, which 62 Australian is like, what's the economy? 48 US, I'm guessing, 45, 48 US. And they're a good round about 250 watt RMS 10-inch sub with a nice low resonance, and I reckon they sound really good. They've got a big magnet on them too, so you know, good value, especially considering $60 each for that. And their 12-inch version, which is right there, it looks the same, the cone wise. That's $90 non-discounted. These are $70 non-discounted, and they've got the same power handling. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, the Jaycar amps, because they were a few years ago in clearance, and I got them for a really good price. So yeah, they don't have car amplifiers anymore, unfortunately, because they're really good sounding. I reckon definitely these 2 amps there and there sound awesome. Their power supply, I think they've got an active power supply in them or something, sounds really, it really held dynamics very well, which impressed me. Also, by active power supply, I mean possibly when the input voltage starts to drop, these amplifiers compensate by trying to increase the voltage on the output of the power supply stage of the amplifier. So that's, yeah. But what else we got? We got the paint here, which is the standard stuff that I get. Yeah, rapid tread oil-based cloth. So yeah, this is cement or paving paint. Yeah. This time I decided to go with white though instead. Whatever I end up painting the box on the outside, a white undercoat will hopefully make the colours pop a bit more. I've also got these 90 degree, or well, they say 88 degree, but I don't really give a crap. 2 degrees is not much difference. Bends here, and they're radiused on the inside also, so hopefully it'll have smooth airflow. When doing a curve inside a box like that, I typically go for 2 45s, but the 45s aren't radiused on the inside. It just makes it kind of more gradual from another sense, almost like a binary type port, where it goes, instead of really sharp instantly and instead of gradual turn, it's really sharp turn and then a stretch and then really sharp turn. So it's kind of like a 50-50. But I don't know if I was maybe just unaware earlier, that Bunnings had these more gradually curved bits of pipe. You can see my voltameter right here. So yeah, anyway, that's what I just decided to go with this time, especially because that the middle part of the 45-degree bend is technically just straight and does nothing but take up vertical space. And space is at a bit of a premium, so yeah, I know this place is a mess. It always is. It's me. So that's it. You know the skinwalkers have claimed to me when all of a sudden the shed is tidy. That's when you know to unsubscribe. So yeah, these will somehow squeeze through, and yeah, all these rings are just temporarily placed here. But yeah, it'll go somewhere like... The foam filter's really zoomed in today for some reason. But yeah, this will face straight up and the port will go backward, and then this will be a flare right here. And what I'll probably also end up doing is cutting about at least 50% of this off, as it's really long and it doesn't need to be that long. I want to start the flare ideally as low as possible to this kind of flat bit that'll be down here. But yeah, to be completely honest, there's not a whole lot more I can do to the box in this current form. What I'm gonna have to do is put it in the car and just kind of size it up, see how much space I can go backwards, and hopefully that'll fit in its current. So yeah, here's one right here, and it is kind of a bit of a blessing and a curse that it's got this foam gasket on the outside here. It fits quite tightly into position, and if I wanted to, I could probably avoid interference right here if I invert mounted one of these drivers down here. But the problem with invert mounting one of these drivers is how the hell do I get it in the back to begin with? I think I'm just going to avoid the interference by moving one of these rings. I think I do technically have space. This bar right here is supposed to be the middle, so I think I can technically move this ring out slightly. Oh, she's tight. She is tight. Yeah, I actually just worked up a sweat getting this bloody stupid thing back in here. But I haven't closed the boot lid yet, but it seems to fit. Yeah. Something I forgot to mention earlier, unfortunately, is this gap here. I left it 60mm for the amps, but I derped out as I measured 60mm from there to here, not perpendicular from here to here or from here to down there. So it's actually tighter than 60mm. So I'm just hoping the seats have enough give in them that I can put them up. But yeah, I had to slam the seats to get them shut just then. So yeah, belt sander does magic. So yeah, I'm gonna have to probably sand off the sides. Something to consider is right now we've got friction of wood on carpet, but hopefully once it's painted it'll slide backward more smoothly. The dimension of this is the same as, or should be the same as, the last sub box I made for the other car, as in perfect width wise, but its sides were not plywood, they were MDF. So anyway, this is how we're looking with the boot lid up, and when I close it we'll just see what happens. Okay, we are not touching. This lid's a bit annoying, as it kind of, if you don't slam at it, it does weird electronic latch things. Let's just take a peek in and see what it looks like. Yeah, she's tight. She's tight, but that's still a full finger. That's a full finger. But bloody, we got plenty of space. Oh, and up here, we got a finger also. Oh man, I love my ability to estimate. Tape measures it for the week. So what I was hopefully going to do was get a profile of how far back I can go, but at a glance, up 10 centimeters or however far to the bottom of that ring right there, looks like it's more or less vertical, straight up. Definitely exciting. And yeah, alright, let's see. Now I've got to get this bloody thing out. Alright, and now probably the final update of this video. Progress has been made. I have the other rings installed. Apart from these ones, you can see green tape, you can see gaps have been filled. I have done just a wee bit of reinforcing, or kind of paneling, if you will. It's more or less these shapes right here, they're not perfect, and the reason why is because they're actually the offcuts from between when I was jigsawing out these rings. So yeah, a bit of recycling there. They work quite well for that. I've got some gaps up here and in here, and of course these huge gaps here. More or less what I'm going to be doing is, you see, you think dog's a man's best friend, it's actually bog. Yeah, bog's a man's best friend. It's something people often have trouble remembering. I don't blame them. Dog, bog, very similar. But yeah, I'm just going to be using filler to make up the differences. Here in the glue joins, because that was just, these bits are just offcut from there, there are rather substantial gaps. So what I did is I just got some of the sawdust that I have laying around, literally laying around, and I just started to work it into these gaps. So hopefully that will close up the gaps a bit, as well as adding some fibrous strength to it. So these panels should be a bit stronger. So I'm already planning on, yeah, I'm not going to have the removable baffle like I kind of thought about. It's just too much work, especially at this point where I'm trying to really maximize space. So I'm not going to bother with that. So the baffle is going to be regularly reinforced to the bottom of the box in order to maintain its strength, plus also bracing through this way should add a bit of rigidity to the bottom of the box. I'm still thinking I'm going to add a bit of bracing from right down the bottom there up, so right up the middle of this back wall. So this gap there not being filled yet is possibly actually quite useful still, so I can have something poke all the way up through and then it can connect there, so a bit of extra strength that way. So yeah, these were also just tacked in with super glue, which should hold. You probably also noticed that these two rings on the outside there and there are just floating. They're only connected in one single point. So I'm still deciding on the final position. I've got this bit of port right here, so it's 40 centimeters of port, plus I'm guessing 10 centimeters, or maybe even 15 centimeters of bend, something like that. We should end up at tuning. So yeah, this is going to go somewhere in there, but the wise among you have probably noticed a bit of an issue with this. Not that the end's blocked off, but these two speakers here are going to be a pain in the ass to get in and out. How the hell am I going to get a screwdriver in there? Yeah, I'm simply not. So I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do for there. I will get a tiny bit more clearance, as I'm still planning on taking this down, so the top of this ring off, but I might have to pull it out a bit further. I think I can pull it out further, something like that. But currently I'm fairly committed to these two speakers being right here. But as for this speaker, yeah, I'm still thinking about it. As for these bits of wood sticking up here, once again, yeah, belt sander. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to get the belt sander and hold it on, and it is going to take off everything I want. But yeah, I'm going to hopefully end up with the speakers are not on the same plane. They're a bit curved, and I'm hopefully going to have the top of the speaker box follow that kind of inferred curve, how it kind of comes down and swoops up, and then this one kind of, yeah, does that. So yeah, it should be good. It should be good. But yeah, seeing as this is probably part 2, stay tuned for part 3 by hitting the subscribe button. And yeah, hit the like button if you like the progress on it so far. I know other people are a lot more OCD about things like getting perfect gaps closed up, and they'll spend months on an enclosure similar to this. But to be completely honest, if it's strong and if it holds air, then it is fine. And if it's strong, holds air, and looks good, then it's perfect, regardless of the skeleton. So once I've got bog and paint over this, shush. Once I've got bog and paint over this, as long as it doesn't break, and as long as it sounds good, then it is a success. And it was not worth spending extra effort and time on components which don't end up mattering. Now, of course, I could end up eating my words and the thing could fall apart, but I'm 99% sure it won't, because I'm going to put in enough reinforcing that it is going to be fine, but without spending so long jigsawing and perfectly contouring parts for this. No, I'm just going to get one of those offcuts and squeeze it in there. Like, it's all good. It's all good. Like, people who are perfectionists realistically are inefficient. That's what it comes down to. I'm trying to be more efficient. Heck, like, the number of people I've seen build basic sub boxes, not pointing any fingers, but it's taken them months. And here I am, week 2, plus I've had a ton of work and uni, and I've been sick. So yeah. Anyway, rant over. If you enjoyed, leave a comment, whatever. See ya.